Married folk, what's the most underrated part of marriage? Laying in bed before going to sleep and just laughing with each other about jokes and stuff. Having someone that can check you on your it, in a respectful and loving way. Do I smell weird? Is my hair ducked up? Did I say it too many times when we role played for a job interview? My husband is always honest with me and I need that grounding in my life. It's amazing. Underrated, having someone else who knows your habits so when you lose things or do something stupid, they can come to your rescue in the most efficient way possible. You do it for them too. Having a person you can sit with and not have to talk. Comfortable silence, as MRS. Mia Wallace might say. Honestly, people don't get how amazing a shared history can be. Picture a witty phone call from your parent. You hang up, are in a complicated emotional funk. Being married often means your spouse not only knew this was coming, they know exactly the next 7 stages of emotional turmoil, calming hilarity that will ensue, and they roll with it. A good wife or husband normalizes your neurosis and keeps you on an even keel just by having been there throughout. To Dr. Explaining is exhausting. A long marriage means you never have to. When one of you doesn't have your it together, sick, really stressed, lost a loved one, the other picks up the slack and keeps you sane. It's teamwork in general. It's basically doing life on easy mode if you choose the right partner. The inside jokes. Being comfortable enough to be so weird goofy together. A ton of our interactions with each other at home would be enormously embarrassing to have anyone else witness, but we have a great time. Being able to clearly communicate without using intelligible word sentences. Over the last few years, sometimes it's just random nosies. At 44 years in, the best part is comfort. Feeling so comfortable with her. Being forced to make good relationship decisions because you do really love that FK even when they piss you off. Something about marriage made me take a breath when something annoys upsets me. And I think, is this worth being upset? Is this where I'll damage my marriage? And the answer is always no. Then I slap the booty and continue along with my decent life. Underrated, 2 incomes. Makes a massive difference in lifestyle, but it is mentioned far less often than the emotional aspects. The team approach to every situation. You get the table, I'll place the order, or you get the seats, I'll get the popcorn and sodas, or you put kid 1 to bed and I'll take kid 2. Plus always getting to order the best 2 things on the menu and sharing. The other person is there to pick up the slack when you can't do it anymore. Times I've been too sick to cook, he will grab what is needed from the store and make soup. His dad has cancer and it's easy for him to visit his dad out of state because I can just stay here and handle things while he's gone, rather than us having to worry about finding someone to watch the house and board the dogs, which if we had to do each time it would make the visits a lot more expensive and less frequent. It's just nice to have someone you can count on who has your best interest at heart. When you both get sick at the same time and you get to watch several days worth of horrible movies together while sharing one tub of ApoRub. Bonus, since you're both already sick you don't have to worry about not sharing germs. Becoming so codependent on someone you don't remember how to sleep alone anymore. I don't know why I like it so much. It might sound weird, but there's just something about being so permanently tied with someone. They become such a part of you. You can't imagine it any other way, and when one is out of town, or working a lot, or whatever, you realize how much you've grown to rely on them, and the rush of gratitude and intimacy you feel is uniquely satisfying. I always think of that scene in 500 Days of Summer when the friend is talking about his wife and says, no, she's not the woman of my dreams. She's better. Cause she's real. Hits home. I'm gonna go hug my wife now, thanks for this post. Not having to date around anymore. Sometimes if your cat is cuddled up on your lap but you need something from another room, you can ask your spouse to get it for you without having to disturb your comfy cozy cat. Edit. Since many Redditors also suffer from this, I have compiled the terminology so you can better describe your affliction and know how to ask for help. Help. I, asterisk, have cats, asterisk, I'm with cat, asterisk, I'm incattent, asterisk, I'm becatted, asterisk, have been catted, Asterisk. I'm beasted. Asterisk. I'm under cat. Asterisk. I'm stuck under cat. Stroke. I'm stuck. Asterisk. I'm incapacitated and cat-pausitated. Asterisk. I'm pet-locked cat-bound. Asterisk. I'm immobilized. Asterisk. Have been colonized by a cat. I have a serious case of feline canine paralysis. Cold cat dog on lap. Catalepsy. Cat lap. Feline paralysis. Pause to know when afflicted. Kitty claws. Kitty rules. Rule of cat. Cat law. Cat privilege. Cat gravity. Do not disturb the cat if he has chosen you to sleep on. Cat immunity. Cat immunity. PS thanks for the gold. Most underrated. Being able to know someone so well and be known so well that when you suggest things to each other, you're almost guaranteed to like them. My husband has introduced me to so many movies, TV shows, books, musicians, podcasts, etc. that I never thought I'd enjoy but I love. And vice versa. It's a big part of our relationship and I don't hear others talk about it at all. Most of these comments are addressing best, not underrated. As a woman, I would say being big spoon is very underrated. It's much less constricting than being little spoon. It keeps your tummy warm. And of course it's a nice way to express affection. Back scratching. And having a good excuse to bail when work asks you to stay late or come in early. Or anything else anyone asks you to do that you don't want to do. Sure, I'm down as long as my wife is okay with it. Then, after some time has passed ostensibly for you to call her, you just say, man, you know that I would totally be there. But the wife has already made plans for us all day. Sorry, that's the most underrated part of the deal in my opinion. Not having so-say fiancé anymore. It sounds pretentious. Having someone else investigate the strange noise. I get very cold at night and my husband is a human furnace. So now I don't need 2 blankets, socks and long sleeves. Having someone else to push the stupid cart at the grocery store. The little things. I lose things like crazy, so when we are at the airport, I just hand over any paper to him and he takes it. Get this. He then knows to do something with it so I don't have to. And we're shopping. He carries my bags without asking. I've had medical issues and get dizzy at times. If I go outside to take the trash and it just is too long, he comes right out looking for me. Again because medical reasons, but I'm usually chatting with the neighbor. When his check engine light comes on, I just take care of it because he doesn't speak car. It's amazing if you stop and list the things. I am genuinely going to live longer because my wife makes me go to the doctor when I'm sick. I am terrified of doctors and really hate the expense. So on my own I put it off as long as possible or just don't go. But my wife won't take no for an answer. She doesn't hesitate to step in and insist that it is goddamn past time I see someone about something. And so just as good so she always offers to come with me when I go. I don't always take her up on it, but she always offers and that alone makes me feel better, braver. I know there are stats floating around about how married men live longer. Possibly partly for this reason. While I am not a man, I can 110% vouch that having a wife can measurably increase one's lifespan. So that's my underrated thought, so increases lifespan. Talking it about other people together. I lost my wife to cancer on November 10. 5 years ago. I miss the hugs and just the general closeness we had. She loved PDAs. I miss the whole holding hands. She leaning on me and traveling together. Tag team embarrassing your kids. Hey, honey, let's wear our matching Disney t-shirts out to dinner tonight. Thank you to everyone who posted here. My partner and I are getting married today. We have been together for about 3 years and have lived together most of that time. There are a lot of things here that made us laugh and think as we read all the comments together over coffee this morning. When you both make the same stupid pun at the same time and laugh like fools. Also playing video board games together. Having someone who believes in you when you're not sure you believe in yourself. I can't even tell you how much more confident and successful I am simply because my wife says things like, "You are amazing. You can do anything." Even when I feel like I am not particularly good at anything. Edit. Removing this will get buried preamble. THXU Vaka. A very underrated part of marriage is having someone who will call you on your it and you know they just want you to be the best person you can be. Using your spouse as an excuse to get out of things, as long as your spouse is cool with it. The 6 just gets better and better. Seriously, I love knowing exactly when I can flip my wife's switch. And 6 really begins in the morning when we make breakfast for our kids. A little brush on the arm here, a little booty pinch there, some verbal ripostes. Then once the house is quiet, we can finally start getting to the really good stuff. I love to build her up because I know her mild to extreme turn-ons. Sometimes we try new stuff, and we can laugh about it and experiment and it's never awkward or weird. Then we go to sleep together and wake up the next morning and start it all over again. It's really awesome. I was always kind of worried that our 6 life would plateau or peter out. Nope. More nights than not a week we are like 2 teenagers. It's just so awesome to have someone that can keep up with you. All that being said, marry someone with a similar libido. Going to sleep every night with someone you love. I have someone who has observed 30 years of my life and still loves me. There's a gravity to her presence that would be near impossible to match. Seeing your soul grow as a person. Covering your spouse with a blanket when they sleep. On-hand personal masseurs. Having a best friend to grow old with and always having someone there for emotional support. We make a huge deal out of unconditional love, but it's unconditional like that really tickles the soul. Laughing because your spouse is giggling to the point of crying. My husband and I find a lot of the same things funny, but when he finds something extremely funny and can't stop laughing it just makes me laugh too. Sometimes when we watch comedies we have to pause for laugh breaks so we don't miss anything. Someone to do the dirty work you can't deal with. My husband can't handle vomit, so when dogs or kids inevitably spew vomit everywhere I've got that. On the other hand, one day we found a mouse in our bed and I fled screaming and crying. I was pregnant and a bit emotionally charged. My husband dealt with the mice and cleaned up, and fixed the hole they got in from. Underrated? Sitting in bed on a Sunday afternoon and hearing some banging about in the kitchen. And then 15 minutes later he comes in and gives me a sandwich. A huge beautiful glorious greasy again bacon sandwich. My ex used to go into the kitchen, fry up all the bacon and then stand at the pan and eat it all. And then be absolutely befuddled when me and our shared 6 kids would ask if he had saved cooked any for us. It was for me. It was just a snark. It was all the bacon we had. You bastard. Shoulder divorced him then. So clearly mate selection is key. And making sure their love language is sandwiches. Saving this thread to remind myself not to settle for less. Saying my wife in the Borat voice. I'm not married but live with my ex-husband raising kids and can relate to so much of this. Knowing someone else has your back is invaluable. Even if we're not banging, life is a lot easier together. In a good marriage, having an equal to share things with. If you have the right person, even the mundane things are more fun. Having someone who you feel no shame with. I just washed my wife's whole body CNA style after a major surgery. We laughed the entire time, especially when I cleaned her crack. Good times. For me, I suffer from anxiety and depression. I don't even need to say anything to my wife. She just knows if I'm not feeling good and will sit and cuddle with me, which 99.9% of the time changes my mood. It's the little things. Just knowing you have someone by your side to work with you through life's challenges. Having someone to apply sunblock to your back. Specifically, having someone who you don't mind touching your back available to do so. Binging Netflix shows the whole day with the fireplace going and sipping on Macallan and then eventually taking a 6 break and ordering sushi for delivery. Can't wait to come home. Travel. And having traveled together. I'm sure journeys are very enjoyable even by yourself. But having someone else with whom you share the experiences, the wow moments, the beautiful vistas, the unique experiences, the museums, the architecture, it makes it richer for both of you. Being able to say my wife sounds way better than saying my girlfriend. I'm 63, she is 52, been together 32ish years, been married 29. Ta-da-ta-da. We have spat some dart last a while but we argue fair. My favorite is I am sitting at the kitchen table. She enters the room or she could be in the room. When we meet eyes it is a smile for both of us. Understand, not a toothful laughing smile but a closed mouth big smile that tells you I love you too. Having someone there in the dark after a bad dream. Finding someone who fills in all your shortcomings and whose shortcomings you are perfectly suited to fill. My wife is a goddamn superstar at planning things. Once she's got a vacation, or an event, or any other kind of plan in mind, she absolutely owns it from top to bottom. However, if one little thing goes wrong, she can lose her mind and not know how to react or pivot. On the other hand, I am terrible at planning it. I'll wait until 2 weeks before a vacation to plan it, overpay on everything, and have to settle for lesser versions of what I wanted to do because I didn't put in the work ahead of time. However, I'm really good at improvising on the spot. If dinner reservations we've had for months fail for whatever reason, I'm the one who can find 3 other spots nearby within the same price range in 10 minutes. She's the long term, I'm the short term, and when our powers combine, we're one fully functioning adult. Unconditional love. Saying I love you as often as you both want and it never gets old, it never gets corny or monotonous and you don't feel like it's losing its meaning ever. I say I love you to my wife at the most random times, like when we're sitting and watching TV and she asks me to hand her the bong. I'll say I love you, she says I love you too. Or she'll just look over at me no matter what we're doing and say I love you and I respond in kind. We've been doing this for 4 years and it always feels new. I love being married to my wife. I'm getting married tonight. This was a cool thread to read through. Owner. The fights. It's like you've got a second pair of eyes on your decisions. Loving, invested, and judgmental. You know when you're making a bad choice. And if the marriage is right, if you both respect each other, it's great. It's not an anti-friend pointing out your shortcomings to elevate their own status. It's not a teacher taking out personal frustrations on someone who can't talk back. It's someone who cares deeply, who wants what's best for the both of you, expecting a better version. I hear other people talk about their conflict-free relationships, and I can't stand it. I would never be with a woman too blind to find my faults, and I especially wouldn't tolerate a woman too meek to communicate them. Marriage shouldn't make you happy, it should make you better, and that should make you happy. Find someone you can spar with. Having someone to split breakfast orders with at restaurants. No more choosing between sweet and savory. You can have it all. I think it's having someone you share a history with. For example, you spend, about 18 years with your parents, right? As long as you've had a healthy relationship with them, you feel like they're people who will always be there for you because they always have been. If you totally duck up and lose your house, your parents might let you back home. Right? You know, in the end, they would be there for you. Marriage is the same kind of trust or feeling developed over time. I've been married for 11 plus years, together about 16 years, and we're 35. Sometimes I look at him and think, he was 19 when we started dating. We've been through our entire adulthood together. He knows my worst moments and my best moments. He was there through the birth of our children and the struggles of me staying home with them. He's been there for my different jobs, going back to college, getting a career. He's been there through money struggles and increased income. And he's been there for romantic getaways and traveling to see extended family with kids. He's been there for holidays, for creative meals, cooking disasters, and reheated leftovers. It's almost like we've created this book, this wonderful story, together. And we can refer back to that book anytime we want together. I can't do that with anyone else. Sometimes, it's scary to think about the future, when one has to go first. No wonder long-term married couples have an increased risk of death for a year after their partner dies. You don't just have this other person around, you have this whole relationship, this whole story, this whole book, and when the other person is gone, no one else is there to really share it with. Sure, there are snippets other people know, and others can be empathetic and supportive, but I can't imagine losing that relationship. It would be the worst thing. Anyway, sometimes I think about that, our history, and how grateful I am to have someone to share my life with. Getting wrinkles. Teasing them about the wrinkles. Arguing and feeling safe about disagreeing with them. Plotting their death as they snore next to you but being completely unable to sleep without your own personal white noise machine. Holding hands. Whining about doing dishes. Meals with the in-laws and playing drunk uncle bingo. Making up silly games with the other. Farting in public and blaming them. Having shared goals, especially when it comes to your kids.